Namaste and welcome back to another edition of Live, Love, Engage. And I am delighted to have a guest with us on the show today who, for those of you who are listening, you won't be able to tell, but we're matching colors today. I love it. We're both in pink. She got the memo and I didn't even send it to her. So I want to welcome Alena Chapman, first off, to Live, Love, Engage. So welcome, Alena.
Hello, Gloria. I'm so glad I'm here. And yes, I know. And even the same shade of pink. That's amazing.
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Well, you know what? I think it's perfect because in reading through your bio, we're very aligned in what I think what we're up to in the world, and which is one of the reasons why I was delighted to have you on the show. I've been familiar with you for a while, been sort of circling you a bit, and now I have a chance to be able to, talk with you.
Great.
So
I'm excited. I'm very excited to be able to speak with you. Yeah, well, that's nice to know.
Oh, thank you. And let me share with our listeners and those of you who are watching as well on YouTube, just who this lovely woman is. She is referred to by many as a soul curator, and Alena works her magic by wisely integrating the wisdom of various religions, spiritual modalities, and scientific research to bring clarity, ease, and flow, along with greater understanding to all. And she's on a quest to help people everywhere heal and connect to their soul's purpose and experience abundance while on the journey. And she works with clients around the world to help them to heal themselves so they can identify what they're really here to achieve in life from a space of compassion, non-judgment, and love. And she's been on a guest on all sorts of different networks, all the major networks, and she's appeared on stages with amazing people like Les Brown and the late Bob Proctor. And she's also a certified counselor in her own right as well. So I am really delighted to have you here. Oh, not to mention the fact she's also a best-selling author, which she didn't mention in her bio, but I happen to know for a fact, because again, this is one of the reasons why I connected with her. I saw her at an event, and she had written this book called The Prison Effect: Discover How You Are Blocking Your Own Happiness and Break Free to Abundance and Joy in Life. And it's a really, really good book. Got some really great insights and exercises to help you to break free of the things that are keeping you in your own prison. And I know you've also got a new book that you've got out as well.
I do. I have a book called Hello Soul, which is written in a little bit of a different way. It's I've decided that people don't always enjoy being told what to do, so I decided this one is more talking about how I found my way back to living by my soul. But just like The Prison Effect and my other book, You Can't Escape from a Prison If You Don't Know You're in One, at the end of each chapter, of course, when I'm looking for it, I can't find it. I have, isn't that the way? Yeah. I have a little skills for your own journey. So it's like the time to focus. And I give you other ways that you can try for your own journey on starting to not only hear your soul, but start to be guided by it and live by it, which I think is the key to the ultimate happiness, and contentment and peace, and just really feeling good in this life and understanding from a higher perspective everything that's going on, even in times like these,
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you're telling it from your perspective, because when I wrote my book, Live, Love, Engage, I intended it to be more of a how-to, but as I started writing it, it turned out to be much more of a memoir than I had intended. But I also think it's better that way. And so I'm okay with it. So
I think so too. I think people like to hear how you did it. They like to, and they learn from you. I always say laugh when because there's definitely places to laugh, and cry if you feel like you want to cry. It's a story, and a story is much more unassuming and accepted in your subconscious mind. It stays there, and then it's easier for you to change those old beliefs with story than you must do kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wondered if you could share with our viewers and listeners today a little bit about your story. How did you come to, be this soul curator and an author? What tell us a little bit about your journey.
Oh gosh, ooh, we've got to have a cup of coffee with this one. um, I actually didn't know I was even going into this business. Um, I just started out in the mindset business, which is those two books you just talked about, and those just came about because I had been going through a really bad divorce, and so I was doing things to create my own happiness, that's what caused the divorce, trying to be happy. And the happier I got, the worse the marriage became. And so once I was, just trying to get through things, and I would choose to do something fun every day. I would get up and say, okay, what sounds fun? And whatever it was, I would do it because it gets your creativity and your imagination going again. And one morning I woke up and said I wanted to journal. And before I know it, every morning I would drop the kids off and go to the coffee shop and journal. And before I know it, I had a very thick journal and I loved it so much. And then that's when I met Bob Proctor, and he said, "You've got a book." And I said, "I do." And he said, "You do." And I was whisked off to meet somebody, and all of a sudden you can't escape from a prison if you don't know you're in one. And that led the mindset trail. And I did that. But I have always been extremely spiritual in so many ways. From the time I was very young to the time, really young. We're talking like 3. And I put my little cradle up on edge, and I would talk to all my stuffed animals, talking about all the wonderful things about God and the spirit, And my mom didn't know what to do with me. So then when I learned to keep my mouth shut because, my mom thought I was strange. I wasn't getting along I was raised Catholic. I wasn't getting along with the nuns. And I just decided to just be quiet. And it wasn't until I was doing a program out in New York called The Inevitable You with Elizabeth Gilbert of Eat, Pray, Love. She was telling them about her creative spirit, this little elf in the corner, and how it would come, and she had to catch the ideas before it ran away. And I thought, oh, she's telling them about it, but she's not telling them how she accesses that. And I was telling my friends over Italian dinner. I'm Italian, so I love Italian food, even though it's not good for me at a pasta, but I love it anyway. We sit there and we had a glass of wine, and before I know it, I'm starting to tell why I couldn't believe she wasn't telling them. But then I thought, I'm not telling them either. And so then I told them my whole story, and my team said, "Oh, you've got to show people this, how you live, this spirituality, and how it brings the magic into your life, because you live a very magical life like she does." And I said, "I know." And so then before I know it, I'm talking about my spirituality. It took me a little bit. I really had been conditioned to hear that nobody wants, you don't share that kind of stuff. And the priests and everything, they were not nice when they heard. But I have always been spiritual, but I've also been very fortunate because I was in music oh my gosh, I was in every church. I was working with all sorts of people. I experienced so much, and I always found the glory. I never got bogged down by dogmas. So, so it made sense. Plus, I had a lot of interest in modalities and practices like the Tao, the Buddhists, the Shaman, a lot of them. So, yeah, so that's how I got onto this path.
I love that. And like I said, I knew we were in alignment. So I was raised Catholic as well. And so I only went to Catholic school for 4 years though. So and I think I only had 2 nuns for teachers. But I know when I
wasn't so lucky.
when I started feeling this call to talk about spirituality, I was really nervous because it was the same thing. I had been dealing with online marketing. That was my business. And so I thought that, people are going to be like, how are they going to react if I start talking about God and love and all these things? But when I started doing it, the more I did it, the better I felt. And so I knew I was on the right track. So I'm glad that you decided to forego some of this old conditioning and be able to do that as well for yourself.
It wasn't that hard with some of it, but yeah. But I'll tell you, I think right now in the world, I think we need it more than anything. I think it's time, because people are starting to ask questions. We've had a lot of disillusionment. Is that even a word? And they are very, let's face it, everything we thought was stable and secure has been ripped out from under us. Every single thing. Health, institution, government, everything. It's like the universe is saying, hey, you know what? It's time to go within. It's time to find your own gifts, your own power, your own way of purpose and being. And then from there, act in love and compassion to form a new world. And basically, that's what we're seeing in so many ways. Everything is blowing sky high. And it's just very interesting, but it is a wonderful time to be alive. I know a lot of people don't say that. I think it is, because truly we do get to create. It's just, what do we want to create?
Yeah.
More of the same or something better, right?
Absolutely. And not to mention that we have the advantage of this technology that, the last pandemic during, around World War I, people were really, really isolated. We felt that we were isolated over the last 2 years, but at least we had Zoom, and other ways of being able to at least see each other virtually, and so to be able to stay in contact. So I am very, I agree with you. I'm very blessed. I know it is challenging for many people, and the potential for growth is really there, because I really do. I felt I called it this in 2020. It was like the this age of awakening. It was like, or the Great Awakening. That's and I know other people called it that too. It's like we really are being called to, take a look and say, okay, maybe these things aren't really working, and there should be a better way of being able to live our lives and take better care of each other, take better care of the planet.
And there's so much going on in the energetic field too. I think really people, and gosh, I don't think I should tell people how to process everything, because that's totally a personal thing. But I do say, find your best way to process, because we have a lot to process. People are upset when they don't know why. People are depressed and they don't know why, and it's because we have been through a lot. And for a lot of us, it's gosh, family members and everything. Come on, pat yourself on the back. First of all, we've made it through somehow, but now it's time to process. So, everyone has their own way. Everyone. If it's dancing in the rain, if it's taking a walk in nature, if it's shutting the door and just being left alone. One of the best ways I processed, and you don't have to do it, I'm just sharing some of the crazy things we can all do. When I was a conductor, I worked on Sunday. I worked in universities, but I also worked in churches. So I do the church thing, whatever it was, in service mass. And then I'd go to, when we had blockbusters, because when I was growing up, my dad was he made himself who he was. He was a self-made man. That's the term I'm looking for. And he always told me, you don't cry until after everything is solved, because right now you have to fight, right? Yeah. Good old Irish Catholic there. And so then I learned to tough up. And he was always worried about me because I was a flower child. So he's got to toughen me up, right? So I got so that I could push really far down. And I knew that. And I would know that I wasn't feeling right. So I would go to Blockbuster when we had those, and I'd rent a movie I know I'd cry. And I'd bring it home and I'd sit and I'd watch it. And then I would cry. And then all of a sudden, in that crying process for the movie, all the stuff I was holding deep down inside would come up, and I could cry about that and get it all out. So everybody has some kooky, crazy way that they process. Do it, because that is the way that we are going to start to heal, and you can move on to the next level. But you've got to get it out of your system, you know, otherwise it comes out like popcorn. You know, you're driving down the road and all of a sudden you see you honking at someone for no reason, you know, and you're getting impatient, and all that stuff is a sign. I call it popcorn, that you need to unearth it. You need to rid your cells, your muscles, your whole body from that stuff, and just process. Yeah, it's a time. It's an important step. I say that anytime you're healing too, you know, anytime.
Yeah. And I think it's important for people to know that it's okay to do that. You know, sometimes I think because we want to, I think women in particular, you know, we want to be number one, like all things, and we want to be good at everything.
Super
and, you know,
women.
and so then we are, you know, trying to be perfect, and there is no perfect person anyway. And so we do stuff it down. So, you know, it's important to be able to give yourself permission to feel those feelings, whatever they are. I mean, when I was a teenager, I used to listen to Barry Manilow, and that would be how I would cry.
Me too. Yeah, that would make me cry too. Poor guy.
Oh, I know. It was great music, but there were like just certain songs that would be like, so it was a great release. But whatever you have to do now, do the same thing, you know, and also have fun. I think you mentioned at the very beginning something about gotta have fun in life. And I was listening to, actually, I was listening to Mike Dooley today, and he was talking about how to make your soul sing, and to like come up with the fun things to do. And
I do that every day.
Yeah,
you really.
That's right. You said that. Yeah.
I cannot. I can't see. I don't want to live in that heaviness that people live in. And so I really do have fun every day. It can be fun just meeting a new person, or having a new experience, or going out to little, like the nature, the woods or whatever, and hiking, or just taking your latte or whatever you like and going out there first thing in the morning. And if it's too cold, don't get out of the car. I don't like the cold, guys. So I sit in the car, I roll down my window, and I talk to the beech tree, or I talk to the birds that come to visit me, and they do, you know. And so I talk to bluebirds, I talk to the ducks, you know, just have a nice little conversation, and the beech tree. And I just enjoy, have fun, hike, dance with music, turn on music that you love. Just do whatever it is, you know, that you have fun with. You've got to have fun. And if something is, I'm to the place where if it's not fun, I probably won't do it. So I've learned how to make it fun. So if I have to write bills, which is probably my most boring thing in the world, I will put on my favorite music or a really good movie and then do my bills, because I cannot just do them. I just cannot do them. Oh my God. So there's just some stuff that's like watching paint dry, and so you have to make it fun. But you know, that's my life, because you know, life is short. It is so short. And so why not live it to your very best? And why not live it more on your own terms? You know? And I always hear from people, oh gosh, what did I see? I even saw it on TikTok. I saw this woman was so upset. She had been healing, and all the people around her didn't agree and called her selfish. Yeah, isn't that sad? And I thought how demanding people are of each other when they don't conform.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think it's I guess it was, I listened to a lot of like Abraham Hicks, and they talked about this one time, and it's like, you know, these people who say how selfish you are that you're not doing what I want.
Like, you're selfish because you're not doing what I, and I'm the one being selfish. Funny.
Yeah.
And while you're healing, you have to be a little selfish.
Yeah.
You have to take the time for you. You have to start honoring yourself. But I'll tell you, when you get, because you haven't been for years and years, folks. That's what got you into the place where you need to heal. And so you can go back to being what other people want you to be and never heal. Or better yet, let them call you selfish and go on with your healing. Take the time to be by yourself, set your boundaries. And you can always set it with compassion. You don't have to banish people into the desert. You just have to, you have compassion and just set up healthy boundaries about what you will do, what you won't do, what you will take, what you won't take. And heal. That's the best thing you can do. Because once you heal, then you can start to bring forth the beauty of you in everyone's life. And then you're helping others. And that's what we're meant to do. When you walk in compassion, you're walking with total authenticity and the true you without all the baggage. It's great to be authentic, but it's even better not to have all the baggage when you're being authentic, because then you're showing the beauty of you. And you're feeling the beauty of you. So yeah, we have to see how important it is for us not to worry about what other people think of us. Because really, guys, they're projecting what they think of themselves. We are living bubbles, and what we see inside is what this world is. So if we see ugliness, well, guess what the world is?
Yeah.
If we see beauty, oh my gosh, then I'll tell you, the veil opens and you start to see real beauty.
Sure. I
Yeah.
agree 100%. Let's shift gears just slightly. I would love to know what actually gets you excited about the work that you're doing in the world.
Oh gosh, lots of things. Because you're always growing. Anyone who doesn't say this. So the more I grow, the more I get to experience like true magic in my life. And so I love that aspect. That's a personal thing. I love my clients. It's just,
That's good.
I love when they first, they're with me and they first get that feeling that there's more. And they do, like, I'm known for my journey. I do these little journeys that bring people into, I don't even understand it totally. I mean, I know what I do. I know what I'm doing. I'm not, it's not haphazard by any shape or, but I'm always amazed on how fast people get into that theta state, how fast I can get them there. And then their mind opens and then they get incredible guidance and they meet incredible guides and angels and passing people, and they just get so, but anyway, in these journeys, when someone gets just that gold nugget that changes their whole life, when they say, or they get that wash of forgiveness all over them and they feel free. I love it when they get to experience something bigger than themselves and discover what's inside themselves, that beautiful power that they all have, and their lives start to change. And when I see that, I know I have done what I'm here for. And it excites me. It really does. I love taking people out. I love taking them out in nature. I love for them to lift the veil, for them to see something really cool. I love that whole aspect of it. Yeah. What about you?
Oh, pretty much the same. And I love when they really can see the possibilities of life when they haven't been able to see them before. And when I can point out a new way of doing something that maybe they weren't even aware of that they could do. And that actually gives me pleasure as well to be able to help them. So yeah.
It is. It's a wonderful world when you're serving other people, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely. It is.
What do you wish that you had known when you started out on this adventure we call life?
I wish that I had like, a little hint would have been nice. I think a little hint that that I didn't have to listen to people when I was younger, and that I was always on the right path from the very start. I knew what I wanted to be, and to just, it's a double-edged sword. Sure, we want to have all that, right? I think then I would have had a lot more confidence. I would have stuck to my guns better. But then again, some of those little turns and those little whys in the road, and maybe I took the longer road. We always end up where we're supposed to be. We just take the longer road or the shorter road. And some of those longer roads, I think I wouldn't have gained the knowledge and wisdom that I needed to gain to be able to help people so much. So everything is a design that I really can't question. However, I think it would have been nice. Who knows? I might have been, maybe I would have turned into that flower child and lived up in the mountains and joined a commune and my dad would just die. So who knows what would have happened when I was younger. And I think maybe I was meant to go through that. Maybe I was meant to learn what it's like to really be that person who is like, a self-made person, which really that fortitude, he taught me a lot of really good things that really, they were good things for mindset. And I experienced incredible things with him. I understood what electricity of ideas is. When you get people together and those ideas are just, you're lifting each other up and you're supporting each other in such a powerful, high vibrational way that everybody in the group succeeds. I have a mastermind that's doing that now that I'm putting together. But on the other hand, we're adding a dash of spirituality to it too, that even ups it even more. I wouldn't have learned that if I hadn't maybe forgotten what I'm supposed to forget, what I was supposed to forget, and just experience life as it unfolds. That's what's important. Really, we have to start experiencing life as it unfolds, the good, the bad, the indifferent. But when you see it from a higher, let's face it, when you start to understand and you see it from a higher position, you don't go into the panic modes. As the Tao says, you stay detached and you just see it from the higher. It's not that you don't care, but you just see it from a different vantage point. And when you do that, then it's a whole different world.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you're in the thick of it, sometimes it's really hard to see that there's going to be a way out, and yet eventually you do make your way out, and then you can look back and go, oh yeah, okay, I can see why I needed to go through that, because you're right, we do have, some people ask, if you had your life to do over again, would you do it? Would you still do it the same way? And so
pretty much.
Yeah, because it is who made me today. And so, yes, some of it I would have loved to have done without. And it's still, there were lessons. I can see them now. At the time, not so much. But now I can appreciate it. All the, crap, frankly, that we go through in life, sometimes.
I know, it's true. I think then it's trust. I remember when I was going through my very bad divorce, and it was a long one. It was bad. It was just plain bad. How can I say it? Just bad, and hurtful and very, very devious. So not on my part. I wish I could be devious. I'm just not that type, and but I did learn, but the powers of perception that I learned, and I learned, and I was forgiving constantly. And I did that on a reason, because I didn't want to, well, I had 3 boys I was trying to stay strong for and build that family. But on top of that, I didn't want it to get worse than it already was. So I kept forgiving. And I swear to God, I was forgiving once a week. And there's somebody who says, oh, does it become redundant? I think some speaker was out there, if you forgive all. No, not if it comes from your heart. If you keep it coming from your heart, only you know whether it's redundant. And if it is, stop. But if you're really forgiving, it'll change the outcome and it'll speed it up for you. And because you're not adding the fire to the fire. And I always just said, let it be the betterment for all. I still took the steps over to protect my children and get the child support, which that was a long battle for them, and to ensure a lot of protection things for them. They had a lot of things at stake. But I really saw a change in the whole way when I forgave, because I wasn't adding fire to fire. I was putting water with fire.
Yeah.
It makes a difference.
Absolutely.
And it also affords you to get above the trees.
Yeah.
And when you get above the trees, you understand that it's not, God's not just on your side. God's on everyone's side. There's a news flash for you on that one, folks.
I know.
And because there's
Yes.
things you don't understand and you don't see.
Mm.
And so to get into that bird's eye view, all of a sudden you are trusting that the universe will unfold it the way it's supposed to unfold. And then you help by forgiving and being the best you can be throughout. And it really, and you don't always have good days. It's not like, oh, I magically forgive and I'm just, oh, I'm a little angel on earth, right?
Yeah.
No. We have, sometimes there's days that you just get so angry. But those are the days you need to process it and forgive as best you can. Maybe the next day, maybe you need a day to vent. It's possible. I did have a few of those. Nobody's perfect, but it's the process that you're on the right road that helps you, you know?
Yeah.
That's what it is. Nobody's perfect,
Right.
really. How boring that would be.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And how does gratitude fit into that?
Everywhere.
Mm.
I know everybody talks about gratitude, and I do too. I love gratitude, don't get me wrong. But gratitude is freaking powerful. I mean, if you really feel it, it is powerful. Gratitude is the fundamental rule. It is the rule of changing your vibration immediately. I'll tell a quick story of my lesson with gratitude, if you'd like. It was with Bob Proctor.
Mm.
And Bob, I knew Bob. I studied with him. Ever since that day, he was on that email saying, you need to come to me. And I said, yes, I do. From that day on, I made it a point to get to know Bob. And I really, really liked Bob very much. And I was putting together a presentation in a part of the United States that nobody knew me. Why? Because my friend thought it was a good idea. Yeah, not one of the best things to do, okay? So you're going into an area where nobody knows who you are and you're gonna throw an event. That's hard.
Yeah.
And we were doing it in New York City. Yeah, even harder. Not even Los Angeles or somewhere where they're at least aligned with this stuff, right? We're going to the hardest place at that point. Yeah. And they're coming around, but really it's not like Los Angeles, right? It's more Eastern. Anyway, so I'm doing this wonderful event and it's not pulling together, no duh, right? And I found out, and I had hired my friend who had put together Bob Proctor's Carnegie Hall event, which I spoke at. Okay, so I can say I spoke at Carnegie Hall, kind of cool. And so I thought, okay, if he filled that, he can fill this because he can draw upon those same people. I even spoke there. He can do this, right? All right. Well, it came out that he was offering free tickets to everyone. That would have been fine, except that it's more expensive in New York. And so I was already 100,000 in the hole.
Oh no, yikes.
Yeah. And so it's Sunday morning. This reality is hitting me that this is not working. And I am driving and it's 9 o'clock in the morning. And my head is like going, you know, that guess what? Your critical mind says, oh boy, we get something to really go after now. We're going to let Alena know that this was so bad. Oh my gosh, we're going to really ram her, right? Well, that's what was happening. My mind was going, oh my God, how could you be so stupid? You know the story, guys. I know we all go through it. So yeah, I'm going through that. And I'm in my car driving because that's where I need to be. If I sit down, my mind gets worse, right? I need to be moving somehow.
Yeah,
fast.
focused on something else. Yeah.
Yeah. I got to see a tree or something, a store, people. So anyway, I'm really upset. And then I started to tear up because I'm starting to think I have a problem here. And this is a friend too. And I don't want to hurt him. But on the other hand, I can't do what he's doing. So what do? I text Bob, 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning. I said, hey, Bob, do you think you have time to chat? And he says, sure, Elena, give me a call. So I parked my car at the end of my driveway and I call him and I say, hey, and the first thing he said, do you know, I've been doing this for 50 years and nobody's called me on a Sunday morning. I said, oh. And then I said, Bob, I'm really upset. And I told him what was happening. And he didn't say, oh, stop everything. No. He said, have you been doing your gratitude? And I got real quiet because I had not. And I said, no. He said, Alena, you know this stuff. Start doing the gratitude. I said, but Bob, he said, do the gratitude. And so I said, thank you very much. And I hung up. That's all he told me, for all the money people pay. That's what he told me. And I started doing the gratitude immediately. And when I started to do the gratitude, and I'm not saying you do the gratitude, everyone says, okay, you write down 10 things that you really are grateful for. Yeah, but it's the vibration. The universe the world goes by our words. Right. The universe works by vibration.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can say, thank you. And someone says, oh, I'm so glad you're so grateful for your dog or whatever. But if you don't feel it, the universe doesn't hear it. So you have got to write the things that you truly are grateful for and then read them through again and feel them. Oh my gosh, I say I'm grateful for my beautiful, well, I always say my boys, but I also say my big red dog and my little white dog, and I see how, Sammy is always cuddling up with me when he sleeps, and Ralphie, every time I'm doing something important, he sticks his big wet nose in my face. And I'm just so grateful for that love of my family, my dogs. My dogs are part of the family, so everybody's one. And it lifts me up to a different level of vibration. I'm not anymore. I'm not in that fear.
Right.
And I'm not in that lack. And okay, so I'm spending $100,000 on this thing and I am giving away the tickets for free. Oh, yeah. Whatever. But I am grateful. I am going to let that go for now. And I am going to live in that grateful state. And you know what? I'm not going to say, oh, miraculously, everyone started to buy. The universe doesn't work as directly as you think. It just doesn't. It never has in my life anyway. But I'm driving down the road and all of a sudden I say, hey, okay, so we got some lemons. Let's make some lemon pie. Let's morph this into something else. Let's make it even better than what we were going to make it. And that's how my Inevitable You program, which is an award-winning program, was made. And I brought in beautiful, powerful instructors from all over. And I have from Canada, from New York, from California. I love Europe, but I didn't have anyone from Europe at that time. So I just have these wonderful instructors that are incredible coaches and experts in their field. And I also have Elizabeth Gilbert. And of course you get me. So life is good. So you get all these people in this wonderful program. It truly has been, Bob thought it was an A1 program. He liked it better than his. So it's got to have something, because he would never say that. Yeah, it's very high praise. So with that, that program is on my website. It's at soulmanifesto.com. And it is a really good program, but it's also fun. And, you know, a little bit of sugar, it helps everything go down, right?
Absolutely. Just a
so you
spoonful.
swallow it better. Yep, you swallow it better. You get it down so it can do you some good in that subconscious mind. And that's what it is. You have a little bit of fun. Your subconscious mind doesn't feel threatened. So I always try to make something fun or a discovery or something, because we don't need that subconscious mind going crazy on you like it did in my car.
For sure.
Yeah. So gratitude is very important. It is, you know, and then from gratitude, you graduate to wonder. And when you graduate to wonder, then guess what? You have the eyes of a child. And that eyes of the child is so important. That's why it's mentioned in the Bible. That's why every faith, every modality, even the Wiccans and definitely the shamans even use it. The eyes of the child is the curiosity. It is where you see the wonder. It's when you look up at the clouds and you see shapes. But now, as a full-grown, wonderful person, you see those shapes and you understand the universe is talking to me. And the world changes again, you know? So it's that wonder. And wonder is when all of a sudden we find we have a terrible pandemic or whatever, epidemic coming, or a virus. And instead of just curling up in a ball and saying, now what? You end up at my table at lunchtime with saying to me, we got to do something. And I say, yes, what do you propose? And they say, I'm going to turn my factory into a mask factory. See how that wonderful wonder eyes of a child? Didn't look at it as good or bad, but I've got to do something. What am I going to do?
Right. Yeah.
Eyes of a child. Yep. Starts with gratitude and goes to wonder. And then it goes off into magic, living, you know, seeing those signs, being able to start to delve into your own self and hear that soul wisdom of yours. Yeah. It all is a good stepping stone.
I love it. Oh, my dear. We could talk for hours, I have a feeling. And I have been enjoying this so much.
I'm so glad.
Awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
have people, you know, guys, you can check out Hello Soul. Right now, I'm sending you to Amazon. If you go to Soul Manifesto, I don't know when this is going to be airing. Soulmanifesto.com is actually going through a little bit of a renovation. But so Amazon is a good place to go for, you know, I don't usually do this. Amazon is a great place to get this book, Hello Soul. It is, yeah, Peggy McCall doesn't even read books. And she's like I don't know how many times she's got New York Times. That woman's something. But she loved this book. I was shocked she even read it. And she just endorsed it up to high heaven. She doesn't endorse anything. So that's high praise right there. But I'll tell you what, look up my YouTube channel, Alena Chapman. And if you really want to reach out to me, I'm also Alena Chapman on Facebook. Go to Messenger, okay me, and send me messages there, or Instagram, or anywhere. Just if you are interested in Inevitable You, if you're interested in, the mastermind I'm doing, it's 6 months. We meet for 90 minutes once a month. Yeah, I'm looking for people who are startups or stuck or want to take that next level and want to do a powerful collaborative mastermind, which people really care and will help. That's a good one. And then just let me know. Just let me know. And that's then while we get that website going, you know.
Good. Well, I will be sure and have all of that information in the show notes. So if you are somewhere listening to this and you don't have a pen in hand, don't worry. Just go to
Yeah.
liveloveengagepodcast.com and you will be able to see Alena's episode and you'll be able to get all that information there. So thank you so much for being with us today. I so appreciate getting to know you a bit more. And
love getting to know you. And also, guys, watch out because she's going to be on Magical Moments, my show.
that's
So
right.
that'll be really fun. I can't wait. We're going to have a good time.
Yes.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
Thank you. And thank all of you for watching and for listening. I really do appreciate you. And remember, if you got some value out of this today, tell a friend, let them know about it, and invite them to subscribe as well on your favorite podcast platform or on my YouTube channel as well. And until next time, as always, I encourage you to go out today and every day and live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically.